My internet's going. Oh dear.
Ms. Renu, we're good to go.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Thursday to all of you, and welcome to Voices being brought to you by Radio Zindagi, of course, and myself, Renu from Genius Kids. Happy to be the host here always. So I'd like to begin by first thanking Radio Zindagi, Neeraj, Seba, and Ira for giving us this platform to bring a show to you for the community and by the community. So tune in every Thursdays, and we'll definitely not only entertain you, but give you some very enticing topics to listen to. And today's another interesting topic. We've addressed so many in the last 5 months, and today's topic is about senior living. And we think that's very important because everybody eventually thinks about retirement. Everybody wants to be with their families. Everybody wants to be with their kids. Many of us are immigrants. Our parents are living in other countries. So how does this work? And we have with us today a team of wonderful people who are going to be sharing their personal views with us, their experiences. So without any further ado, let's begin with the introductions. So I'd like to begin in no particular order, but I think actually I got them in alphabetical order to keep everything happy. We have with us first Indira Venkat. She leads a consumer insights function consisting of several issues focus teams: financial, resilience, health, security. She's responsible for designing a research agenda that yields actionable insights and fosters innovative thinking about AARP, current and future consumers. She holds a graduate degree from the University of Maryland and is a graduate of the Indian Institute of Management in Ahmedabad. So welcome to the show, Indira.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for finding the time to come here.
Sure thing.
And then we have, of course, everybody knows this young man, Jeevan Zuchi of Fremont. He is the founder of the nonprofit organization called the Indo-American Community Federation, IACF, which he founded in 1993, because he saw a dire need for the Indo-Americans to get involved in mainstream America to work on issues affecting them in their adopted land. Jeevan has been successfully promoting unity amongst the community for the past 30 years by organizing many conferences and hosting the annual Unity Dinner meetings, of which many of my Genius Kids have performed. And I'm so happy to say that they're now all in college, Jeevan, and connecting diverse community with public officials. So welcome to the show, Jeevan.
Thank you.
Then we have Mahesh Nihalani. He currently serves as a community director of Priya Living, an inclusive community for people of all ages with a very special place for seniors in the San Francisco Bay Area. He makes them laugh, which he did just before the show to me as well, keeps them happy and let the fun of life never end. This means I have to retire where he is. That's Mahesh's motto, whose lifelong goal now is to serve as an ambassador of happiness for all people, young and old, and all those in between. His exuberant love of the community brings joy to all around him. Welcome to the show, Mahesh.
Thank you, Renu. Such a pleasure to be on this show.
And he wants everyone to notice his new look, his new hair look.
The Halloween look.
He calls it Halloween. I don't think it's a Halloween look at all.
People say I look like Colonel Sanders.
Yes, you do, actually. You do, very much so. And then we have with us Nayaki Ramanujam. She's a retired teacher from Chennai and a mother of 2 grown adults who resides here in the United States. Nayaki has been shuttling back and forth from India to US to spend time with her kids and grandkids. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm curious to know, do the grandkids call you Aji?
They call me Amama.
Mama, okay, all right, great. And then we have with us Pragna Dadbawala. She's a community ambassador, author, and very actively involved in the Indian Community Center senior program and a host of other community forums. She also hosts her own weekly community talk show. Welcome to the show, Pragna.
Thank you very much, and I really appreciate Radio Zindagi for arranging this.
Now I recognize your voice now that I hear you. I have heard you. So welcome to the show. Well, great. Without any further ado, let's begin the show. And for all those who are tuned in, don't forget you can participate we're live on Facebook right now, also on Radio Zindagi. You can go to our Facebook page and you can definitely post in your questions, your comments, and we'll definitely try and find the time to address every single one of them. So the first question is to you, Jeevan. You've been a resident of the United States now for many, many years, and you have your own business. How do you personally feel about retiring here? And have you ever thought about going back to your homeland for retirement?
Good question, Renu. About retirement in the US, if you have worked here long enough, it should not be a problem to retire very comfortably. I have lived in the US, as you said, for a long time now, about 48 years. And I went to graduate school here, worked as an engineer for some time, and also I'm in the business of providing you a home, a business, a commercial property. And we also have a global visitors, company,
Mhm.
insurance for visitors. And as some people were saying that, it's parents, who come here and, their children, they request them, ask them to come. So answering your question, I never thought of returning back to India to settle back. I never did, even when I was 30 years old. And in the present times, I think the technology has made distances very small. We are living in a global economy. We have more than 4 million Indians living in this country. And I think there's nothing we must miss since we have everything India here, everything Indian here. So you don't get an opportunity to even think about going back and settling back. I hope I
Okay.
answered your question.
Yeah, I think you did. I think you did. The only thing is, I would say is, I'm not sure if we get all the luxuries that we can get sometimes back home that we get over here. Maybe I should ask that question to a woman who has to run around doing all the housework. But yeah, thank you for that. So Mahesh, my next question is to you. You're the director of Priya Living. What kind of cases do you see at the home? And are most of the elderly residing here content with their current situation? Or do you see some bitterness about them being away from their families?
Um, Renu, Priya Living was basically started with a vision and a mission to have an environment which feels like home, where there is no loneliness and there's just happiness around. And in my experience with the 6 years that I've been with Priya Living now, I have felt that I haven't experienced any situation where any of the seniors who are living with us have had this feeling that they've been abandoned, or they've been just left there. Because when you come to live with people like a family of your own age, when you have a rapport with them and you sing and laugh and you dance with them, you don't worry about your kids and your family. It's more your own age group that you are, rapporting with all the time. And that is what is important in life. It's actually good activities for you to keep yourself busy. As it is with kids out here in the Bay Area or even the US, they have no time because they're so extremely occupied with their work and their own family, their own children on the weekends and everything, that parents don't get really time for anything except sit at home and watch TV. And that's not what living is about. Living is, you've got to have fun of life. That's what Priya Living is all about. So none of our seniors, I can say very proudly, feels that they would rather stay with their children than be here at Priya Living. They're just having a fun of their life, absolutely.
So in other words, most of the families living at, the couples living at Priya Living have children here in the US, but they choose to be at Priya Living.
Not only in the US, Renu, in the Bay Area.
Okay.
Because Priya Living is here in the Bay Area at the moment, and all of them have children in the Bay Area itself. But you must remember this, although we have both kinds of seniors living with us, people who came here in the 55, 60s, who grew up here, became professors, doctors, teachers, and had their families here, who are now in the Bay Area working. But we also have parents from India who moved here because all their kids are here.
Right.
And even they have settled in so beautifully because it's an environment of a family here. Everybody is like a family here. So it's a lot of fun. You should come and visit us sometime.
Maybe I should book myself a place. I think I need to do that. It sounds
I
very
think
enticing.
Karwalo, we have a big waiting list now.
Well, I better think about that then. So yeah, thank you. That's good to know, because I would have had a different perspective to that. I would have assumed that their families are wondering why their children would leave them there when they're living locally in the Bay Area. So, so Nayaki, my next question is to you. You've been traveling back and forth to the US. What are some of the challenges that you face in terms of adjusting to these cultural differences of being away from your friends? I mean, when my mom used to come and hang out with me when I was a single parent and I needed her help, she used to have to leave my dad and come here, and she would miss home. And after a few months, she'd say, I need to go home. I need to go home. And my parents don't want to live here with me. How do you feel about you coming back and forth?
Yeah, earlier it was the same for me too, but my both kids came here to do their MS. So they got settled here. And my daughter, she has done a PhD also here. So she needed a lot of help from me. So I had to take care of the children here, and then so that she can do well in her career. So that was a goal for me, actually. Other than that, nothing was fascinating me to come here earlier. But now things have changed. I've been traveling for more than 20 years now. This is my 21st year here in US, and I got my green card also, heading to citizenship. So I'm little bit comfortable now, I can say. After previous and all, I was not very comfortable, like you said. I wanted to go back home, be with my people, because children were busy with their own schedule and other things. So now I got adjusted, I think, and it is better here, I feel, uh, because our children are with me. And that's it. Other than that, I have nothing much to say about, because I'm a housewife sitting at home doing nothing. I have my crowd here in Dallas. We live in Dallas.
Okay.
So we have a big community there, Indian community and all senior citizens. We have get together, Thanksgiving party, and so many things. So it has become a social. So my social life is also interesting here. So
That's great to know. I mean,
yeah.
I think that's also a very cultural thing as well, because no offense to any mainstream people listening, but I definitely know, having family who is some family that's married into mainstream, is the attitude is, hey, you had your babies, you take care of them. I already took care of you guys. Now you take care of your own babies, So I think our approach is a little different. And I used to think the same way until I became a grandparent. And now I'm very happy to spend all day with my grandkids. So
Yeah, I have three grandkids also. So different ages, like 21 and 15 and 10. So there's a big change all the cultures we are going across. So it's good.
great. Yeah, it is perfect. Thank you for that. So my next question is to Pragna. Pragna, you're a community ambassador and you work with a large group of seniors. What are your observations about this? Do you see where parents are being called from India to just take care of their grandkids and help out only? I don't want to offend anyone who's listening to the show and think that you're only being brought here for, babysitting purposes and cheap labor. But the fact is, I've had people make comments to me about this when they drop off the kids at preschool with me. I've had many grandparents go, I'm fed up of being here. All I do is babysitting and cooking. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, I don't agree with that, but I know some people have this concern. I'm also a nanny, and another word nanny. What you said is. But that's not true. This is actually, I found that it's a golden period for all the parents. The frustration is not taking care of their children. Frustration is they are not getting communication with other people, no friends, no other support, no socialization, not going on their own, no independence. So that is the frustration. But when they say this, I'm doing just babysitting, I know they love their grandchildren, they love their children, and I in fact more than their children. हमारे में गुजराती में कहते हैं चक्रवती व्याज ज्यादा अच्छा लगता है. So grandchildren are like चक्रवती व्याज. So it is not a concern about the taking care of their children, but their independence, their identity, loss of identity is their concern, which they cannot express you in the right way. And that's why they're telling, oh, I'm just a babysitter, because they cannot express you that thing. The expression, they have lost their expression, they have lost their language, they have lost their culture. And suddenly you ask them to eat instead of rotli pizza, then it is not acceptable for them. And that is the only concern. I don't think so they have a concern about taking care of their children. It is their love. They don't want to miss that thing, and that's why they come here, and that's why they want to stay with their children. And even that's why they even sometimes accept this situation to work in the house. But they tell you all these things, that I am just a babysitter, I've lost. It means they are losing their social connection. They come here at the age of 65, and at the age of 65 they are putting so many things behind in India. Their friends, their social, they have already maintained their status there, and now to again start a new identity, it's very difficult for them. So the concern is not a nanny or babysitting. I think we are giving the wrong word. In our culture especially, no parents will say that we are babysitter. No parents. They are ready to give up everything for their children's. That is our culture.
Yeah.
So I have worked with more than 300 seniors, and I have taken a personal interviews. And when I asked them, "Do you have any concern?" and they said, "What is a concern means?" Our culture don't tell you what is a concern is. I, I said, "Do you know anything about abuse? Children abuse the parents?" I say, "I have never heard that word. We never use abuse word in our culture. It's not our culture. Our culture will never say that. I know they have a frustration because they cannot do, their body is not supporting, and that's why they express this kind of word, but that is not true. That's what
Thank
I
you.
feel with the senior, my experience.
Thank you very much. And it's funny, you brought up the point of the roti. Every time my mom would come here and stay with me and make roti for my kids, when she would leave, my kids would not want to eat the roti that I made. They would tell me, Nani never taught you to make roti the way she makes it. So absolutely, yeah. And so going on to you, Indira, as an AARP representative, what are your thoughts on some of the challenges faced by seniors, whether they reside here permanently or they travel back and forth? What are your views on this?
So I'll address it in sort of two ways, right? One is just from a standpoint of today's pandemic, right? If you think about where we are today, it's not steady state by any means, right? And we know that older adults, particularly given their underlying health conditions, are more susceptible, and therefore they are really anxious, concerned about stepping out. So on the flip side of it, on the one hand, they are being highly compliant, taking precautions, washing their hands, social distancing. The flip side of it, and I think Maheshji referenced it, is this whole space of social isolation and loneliness. And by pulling back, I think that's one of the challenges that they're particularly facing right now. And what we understand, and I think it's been alluded to, Pragna, you mentioned it too, the fact is the bar is really high for social interaction in India. Just life passes you by outside the window.
Right.
Today, here, what it is outside the window with, it's a sandwich generation, parents are working, grandkids are out. That sense of loneliness and social isolation, I think, is something to keep in mind. I think it is an important enough challenge. And what we've heard, based on all the studies that we have done, even at AARP, we realize what an important situation it is of social isolation. The most troubling statistic that I've heard, prolonged periods of social isolation is the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I mean,
Interesting.
if that doesn't stop you in your tracks to say, something that we have to pay attention to, I think it's that importance of having that social connection, something that you have lost when you've come from India. And how do you maintain that? And that those are issues that AARP is focusing on.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. This conversation is very intriguing for me. As I said, I'm heading in that direction, so it's giving me a lot of food for thought. We have a question from one of our listeners, and I'm actually going to pose this question to Maheshji. Mahesh, Kalpana Raghu writes, I'm Kalpana Raghu from Milpitas, and I want to ask for seniors, on behalf of seniors, what are the ways for entertainment in this pandemic? Because they're already spiritual, most of them all the time pray to God, which is somewhat boring. Okay, Kalpana. By the way, I'm 67 years old. I'm a very young lady. So, Mahesh, what do you have for entertainment right now at Priya Living, considering the pandemic?
Priya Living always had, like I said, a lot of fun activities. Before the pandemic, of course, we were doing it, in our community room, in our courtyards. But now everything is gone on Zoom, and Zoom is a wonderful platform that we've been using. So we have yoga, we have meditation, we have meditative movements, which is mudras for dancing, which is a therapy. We have sing along with Piyush Nagar. We have Swaranjali, which is a musical class. We have computer technology sessions on Zoom. We have laughing yoga, which is live on the courtyard because we have a huge courtyard and we can do social distancing. We have lawn games in our courtyard. Food is always a very integral part of our culture out here. So we have in Priya Living people from, I think, every state of India except Jammu and Kashmir. But so you can imagine the kind of foods we are enjoying out here. And, because it's a huge courtyard, people come out in the sun, sit out there, maintaining social distancing and gossip and have crack jokes and have fun. So entertainment could be anything that you want. So, and Kalpana is happy to, maybe if she wants to come and visit us one of these days, maintaining a little social distance. We don't allow too many people to come, but and see what fun is. And fun is all inside. Once you realize what living is all about, when you actually decide to live, then fun happens.
I love that comment. I love it. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Jeevan, do you feel there could be better resources made to seniors who are dealing with cultural barriers? And what about post-retirement, volunteering opportunities, the feeling of self-worth or independence? What are your thoughts on this? You're on mute. You just unmute yourself. Yes.
Why did I put myself on mute?
I think because you got up to leave for a few minutes and came back.
Senior moment.
You noticed that, I'm just bringing my tea.
Mahesh said senior moment.
Renu, we do have some resources available, but they're not always enough because the number of people that we have, the resources are not really enough. But nevertheless, we are fortunate to have a center like India Community Center in the Bay Area, where seniors can meet and they can get involved in promoting their hobbies or seek volunteering opportunities. It also depends on the mindset of a senior. If a senior believes that he or she wants to work, I'm sure there are opportunities out there. I do believe that it's very important to have a feeling of independence. I mean, that's our, birthright. That's that's how we all feel. But also, so much is in the mind also, like our attitude, expectations, desire to give back to the society. These are some of the inherent characteristics. And if one does not have them, you don't have them. But you have to work hard. I mean, you have to work really hard to make life worth living. That's what I believe. That's what I think, Renu.
And do you think there could be a need? I mean, I know you mentioned, you brought up the ICC. We have that as one of the centers. How come I'm surprised that they haven't got more community centers that have opened?
Well, I think they have two, because I know my uncle who just passed away, he was 92. And he used to visit the Santa Clara facility. And I used to hear a lot of wonderful things about that facility from him. They had all these friendships and camaraderie, and they were meeting on Zoom now these days, and music and singing and shairi. It's a wonderful center. And, I also an aunt, and, she has been going to ICC for years. And I hear all the wonderful things, the dances, the music. So I think we do have it. It's just a matter of exploring. We also have in Fremont, we have a senior center, which is also awesome. My father used to go there all the time.
Well, that's good to know for anyone who's listening in. Mahesh, you were going to say something?
I was saying that ICC has 3 centers. They've opened one in Palo Alto now.
Okay.
And now ICC, in fact, has gone a step forward. All their programs are open to all seniors to join. It's all on Zoom. So everybody can just go to ICC website, get registered, and enjoy all the shows. In fact, even Priya Living, all the sessions that we do on Zoom, yoga, meditation, everything, we record them and we put them on our website. So everybody is most welcome to go onto our website and see these shows and participate and do their yoga and everything.
Wonderful to know. And for those who've just tuned in and you're wondering what this conversation is about, we're talking about senior living here in the United States. We have a wonderful panelist group today that's sharing their views. Lots of good information. So feel free to join in, listen in, post your questions. We're getting actually questions from our listeners. So actually, I'm going to go to the next question. I know, Pragna, you have something to say, but we also have a question for you from Amita. Her question for Pragna, she goes, question for Pragna Ben. I used to come to the US to visit my son and grandkids, but I can only stay for 6 months and I have to return to India. How can I manage this situation? And I know you had something to say as well, Pragna.
Well, I agree with her that she don't want to, stay here permanently in the same manner. She want to stay here with their kids. This is the dilemma what I am looking for. And Amita Ben, I think this is all immigration questions.
Yeah.
That they give you a permission for the six where volunteers or any one of from this panel cannot answer, because but of course there is some rules where you can ask for the extension, and if you apply for that they maybe increase some of the months for that reason. As now you know that you are here for 6 months and because of this situation you cannot go back. In that case, if you apply for that you will get the answer for that. But I know grandparents want to stay with their children in the same manner. They don't want to cut off themselves from their roots. You know, they want to go back there too. These are the two things which always happen. And what Jeevan says is, Jeevan, you said very nice thing, that acceptance of this situation. At the age of the 65, for anybody to accept the new situation is very difficult. But because of the ICC, I know even Priya Living, I was working with Priya Living, I was working with the ICC also, and I started my work from the Fremont Human Service Department, and I took 100 people survey of all seniors to ask them, what are your problems? Do you know what I got the answer? Problems? Oh, in our family there is no problems. Because it is our culture, we never say anything about our family to any other people. And when they come to the India Community Center, I was talking and I was dancing and I was doing yoga, everything with them. And what I found that they are happy because they are communicating in their own languages, with their own festival they are celebrating. In the same thing in Priya, when I went there, they are learning to do the gardening. Oh my God, I have grown cilantro. Wow, that's great. And they have a, they have rich. You won't believe, Priya has made a telephone booth kind of thing where people can go and call the people to India on the Skype, and that gives them the India feeling. And I was so happy to see that when I
That's
saw that. Oh
wonderful.
my God. And
That's wonderful.
I have visited so many these kind of different community center, and even on the North First Street, it is not Indian community center, but there are a lot of Indians coming. They are sharing their thoughts with other community, learning from Filipino, Chinese, and everything. I like that. It means
Great.
our seniors are accepting the situation and enjoying. They have a communication problem, but when I see them, they are talking. I said, "How you are talking?" She speak Filipino, you speak Hindi, and how? Oh no, no, we understand each other. Don't fight. And the Filipino girl was telling me, "Don't eat this. This is not vegetarian." Okay, so they were helping each other.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Very nice. Yes.
Thank you so much. And by the way, panelists, if any of you are comfortable to speak in Hindi, feel free to do that. I know a lot of our listeners are also going to be listening in Hindi, but don't expect me to speak in Hindi. Definitely not on air. I can do it behind the behind the scenes. I speak Bollywood Hindi.
Renu, I want to tell every listener that maybe my English is not proper or there is some grammatical mistake. Please accept me.
No,
I'm
everything.
trying to express myself in a better way. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're doing a great job. Thank you for that. A comment made by Kalpana Raghu before. She's written her comment about what we were talking about, parents calling themselves babysitters. I think she brings a valid point. When parents don't get respect from children, then they do feel that they're being used as babysitters. And I definitely do agree with that. It boils down to respect and how you value your parents in the house. My question, going back to you, Mahesh, is do you think as a community we should be doing more to support those who are in retirement homes or old homes or living on their own? Do you think we should be doing more?
Yeah, I think definitely, like even Jeevan mentioned earlier, we as a community need to get, we are such a vibrant, such a big and huge and well-to-do community here. We should definitely pool in resources that we have, whether it's monetary or it's, academic or whatever it is, medical, whatever, and set up a think tank to say, and I can be on that very happily, to say what our seniors need here while they are here, if they're retiring out here. And there is a whole slew of things Renu, that we don't have time to talk about it here, but I could share it with people, and probably you could initiate that along with Radio Zindagi, and Jeevan could be part of it, and we can have
Right.
Pragnaben and Indira would be a great resource there too, and do this, because we should now move forward rapidly towards this, because people are aging, and in my
Right.
6 years in Priya Living, I have had 8 people who lived here who passed away. And so that's a lot of resources that we need, and we have the ability to be able to put those together.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Nayaki, you're next. I have a question from you, actually, from one of our listeners. The first question is, she wants to know, how do you balance needing to take care of your family in India and needing to take care of your kids here in America? Are you ever going to fully move here? That's a question to you.
Actually, I don't have anybody in India, like my siblings are there. They have their own family. But my children, both of them are here, my son and my daughter. So they need my help more than anybody else. Initially, I was not very comfortable coming here and staying with them, with son-in-law and daughter. But now I found out that this is better than staying back in India alone. So that makes me little comfortable to stay here. And apart from that, yeah.
Her next question to you is, do you have any tips for Indian elders to feel worthy and independent while living in America? Because many of them can't drive and they spend all the time at home. What's a tip you could give them?
Yeah, evenings we meet in a park and we do some yoga and what all each other know, like even cookery we discuss at this age. So like that we spend more than 2 hours in the
So
park.
creating a social network.
Social network. We have our own social network, and every day we don't miss a single day in summer going to the park and meeting each other and spending time. So
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Indira, my question to you, along with physical health, a lot of us, this mental health is one topic nobody ever wants to talk about. What are your thoughts about mental health and how seniors can maintain a healthy lifestyle while they're here visiting? Because naturally, when you're missing home, you tend to get depressed. And I think you mentioned, was it you who mentioned something about equivalent to the 15 cigarettes, smoking 15 cigarettes? That's stuck in my mind. So, yes.
Yeah, I think mental health is something that, I think that there are some cultural norms about bringing that out in the open, especially among kids, right? But it is just as important as physical health, right? I see them as two sides of the, sort of connected. Because what happens is if you don't pay attention to your mental health, it has impact on your physical health, right? It increases, I think, risk of coronary arterial disease, dementia, you name it, right? So it is important to sort of keep that side of your brain active. And at ARP, we have a whole range of resources on that front, right? How do you stay mentally connected? Because I think this connection that is being, sort of referenced here is key. How do you stay in touch? And to the point that Nike was making, I'll give you a personal example, right? In wanting to be sort of active mentally, we've tapped into just our circle of friends, tapped into the next generation up to say, pass down some aspects of what is being lost in the culture here. It's that sort of, them going back, jogging their memory, using that mental function. But in so doing, they are passing along, very active mentally. So that connection, that social connection, I think is the other side that is critical to having a healthy, all-round health. Because the physical health and the mental health are just two sides of the same coin, right? The other thing which is kind of interesting is, even in the US, regardless, I'm not talking about the Indian group here, but just across, a very small proportion actually go see a doctor or a medical professional when it comes to needing help. So the question is, who do you seek out? Among Indians, it tends to be friends and family. It could be faith-based organizations. You go to your temple, you meet folks there. But whatever you choose. Make sure that you recognize the symptoms that that you should try and address, and there are ways to address it. And if you actually go to our aarp.org site, and there's a place called Connect to Effect, you'll see all the different opportunities that exist as it relates to social connection.
That's wonderful. So yeah, to be honest with you, I was new to AARP as well. I had not heard about it. So maybe you could just tell us a little bit more about them. And so for those who've tuned in who have never heard about it, like myself, we can learn a little bit more. So maybe just a few more lines, Indira, about the organization.
So we are an organization with 38 million members, and our mission is to empower people to choose how they live as they age. So giving the control and the option to the people
Mm-hmm.
to decide how they live. So we typically are focusing our attention on financial resilience, health security, and fun and fulfillment. It's all about the social connection. And we have programs catering to all these aspects. How do you save in order to have a good retirement, right? How do you make sure your health is that you live that long life, but it's a health span. You're living a good, healthy life. And then on the fun and fulfillment side of it, it's again, things related to technology today, right? How can you learn and become more technologically literate to take advantage of all this sort of social, technology today is that proxy for social connection in so many
Right.
ways. So how do you do all that and be safe? And that the other aspect of ours is we are a fierce defender. We are advocating for older adults, making sure that, programs like Social Security, Medicare, prescription drug prices, we are defending that and serving as a sort of a advocate on behalf of the older adults.
So it's open to anyone, any senior citizens. It's not just for the Indians or the front Indians. It's open to anyone, right?
What we do for all. And if you choose to become a member, you have some benefits associated.
Correct. And the website is aarp.org.
That's correct.
AARP. Wonderful. I mean, I'm so glad that I've learned more about that today. So,
And one other thing I would say, just in that context, particularly as it relates to the coronavirus, do look into our resources, because we have a lot aimed at older adults who we know have been disproportionately impacted.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jeevan, interesting question for you, and probably for a lot of people. How do you and your wife keep balance between being there for your children and also giving them space? Because our American kids love to talk about, I need space, I need my space. So how do you deal with that?
It's such a beautiful conversation we are having. Parents are always there for their children. I mean, it all depends on the individual need, as we know. And, if our children need us, we'll be there for them. And we're fortunate to have loving children and grandchildren now. So,
You're breaking up. Are you there?
I was fortunate to have my parents. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I
Yes.
was fortunate to have my parents join us when I was only 30 years old. So, I have lived through their journey because we lived together. So for me, it's just a natural phenomenon. I mean, like, I'm a senior now, and I know I have seen them live through, I'm living through their journey. And as I said, it's a lot of sacrifice that parents make when they're coming from India, and it's all about your attitude in life. My family, we were fortunate to have parents like ours who kept themselves busy and kept the whole family together. My father, was an amazing guy. He learned driving at the age of 70 and spent his time helping other seniors, took them for shopping, for medical appointments.
That's
And
wonderful.
so space is very much needed. We all need space. It's not only the people who are living together, it's not only them, but we all do need some space. And as I said, it all boils down to your mindset and attitude. You can always find your space. Um, you know, if you can work on building a positive attitude and respect for others' space as well. I think the key is to mind your own business, and sometimes seniors don't do that, and don't interfere too much. Uh, I think everything will fall in place.
Yes,
space,
absolutely.
space will not be an issue anymore. If we don't interfere, and so
Yeah, I think if we just remember that our children have their own lives and they have to deal with their own issues.
absolutely, and they have a
Yeah.
very stressful life. I mean,
Yes, they do.
we had in our times and our children have in this time, even though things appear to be much better now and they get paid well, and things are technology and everything, it's a different world now. But it was the same thing then, it's the same thing now. I mean, you're trying to survive and you have a large family and you have to make payments for your house and cars and stuff. So, and some parents understand that, like our parents were so fortunate. They understood that there's a huge commitment involved here, and we need to support rather than just bitching about things.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yes, Pragna.
What Jivan says, I really agree with him that we when we talk about our children's or we don't adjust with our children is a personal concern and specific need. But the question is, I have talked to so many seniors here, and they are from very traditional family, South Indian family, and I asked her, what do you think about your daughter-in-law? What she's doing? He said, oh my God, she has 10 hands. I said, what do you mean by that? She said, she is doing her job. She's maintaining our relationship. She's cooking for me because I like my traditional food, and she's making their children happy by making the noodles, pasta, or whatever they want. And sometimes she go with my son also in the party and wearing the Western outfit instead of all these things. So she was appreciating the daughter-in-law. In that case, I noticed that daughter-in-law was telling me that, oh my God, I am so lucky that I found my mother here in this house. And these are all understanding. This is a very important that you respect your daughter-in-law, that she is doing a lot of work, she has different priority, and we should always think about with that angle. But some people cannot come out of the past their stories. Oh, my mother-in-law, oh my God, she don't allow me to do this. Oh my
Or
God.
maybe they're watching too many soaps.
I have to cover my head. I cannot sit in front of, I cannot sit and see the TV also. Oh my God. Don't talk about all these things. Now you are in a different world, accept this thing. And that's what I have seen in ICC. All the seniors where they are meeting other people and they see each other, they learn that, oh, I should behave like this.
Right,
I should.
right.
And that's why ICC, Priya Living, or Fremont Human Service Department, they are all here to help the community. And I really appreciate even Radio Zindagi did one my show for 4 months for seniors question. And people, I was getting maximum call in each session. And people were expressing themselves, and then they found the answer. So
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate in this case Radio Zindagi that they are the best communication they are doing with the people in our community to encourage them to live the better life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Pragna, while I'm talking to you, you recently wrote a book on some of the issues we've discussed. Maybe you can tell us briefly about your book, and congratulations on your book.
Oh yeah. So what I did when I started my first volunteering with the Fremont Human Service Department, I hire more than 25 volunteers to speak in their own language, and I was representing India Community Center, and then I invite all the people speaking different languages, Marathi, Hindi, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you help your people in your own languages, with your own traditional method, understand their religion, norms, and everything. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I realized they want some expression and they want some something to tell everybody. Oh, I know this, I know this is a very good feeling. But when you don't get the platform, you feel that I'm lost. I'm losing my identity. So I started one literary group called Betak, where I'm encouraging them to read the books, and then I started encouraging them to write. So I collected so many seniors writing, and you know what is the size of my book?
No, what is it?
Okay, it is 15,000 pages.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Wow,
Going
amazing.
for the Guinness Book of World Record, and the weight of my book is 16 and a half kg. I can show you right now after some times from my camera. That book is here in my house. And this is all written by all seniors. They express themselves. By expressing, by writing, I have learned that they got a platform to say what they know. Basically,
Absolutely.
everybody wanted to share. Why we are here? I wanted to share because I want to give everybody a feedback that what I know about the community, maybe you don't know. That's what it is. And same thing I did, and I asked everybody to write. Since 10 years, everybody is writing, and everybody, I'm encouraging everybody. They lost their language. I brought that thing back.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Congratulations. Wow. I just wrote a book and I'm not even close to 15,000.
I will show you right now. After some time, I'll show you.
Absolutely. Well, we have a few more minutes left. We have about 7 more minutes. So I want to go through a few more questions, and then I'm going to give everybody, they can all give a closing statement of one line of their advice to all the seniors. So Mehe, as Pragna is finding her book. Oh, is that the book next to
Yes.
the fireplace?
Yes.
Wow. That's
Can you see
amazing.
this book?
That's amazing. We see the book. That's
Yes.
beautiful. Yes, absolutely.
I paid 25,000 to deliver from India to here.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Rupees or dollars?
$25,000, right?
No,
Not rupees. Huh.
no. It is a rupees.
Oh, give
But
rupees.
from rupees to here, and then again, I'm on a way to this project. I'm going for the Guinness Book World Record, and I need more than $200,000 for this to get the
We're
award.
going to have to do a show for you on that one for sure.
No, it's
So,
okay.
Mahesh, as we're wrapping up, I'm going to ask everyone a closing question. So, Mahesh, for aging adults nearing their seniority, what would you like to tell them in your closing statement now? Because we literally have 5 minutes. So I'm just going to go to closing statements. What is your message to them?
I just have two things to say. One, like they say, is जिंदगी का बढ़ना तो दस्तूरे जहां है. जिंदगी का बढ़ना तो दस्तूरे जहां है. अगर महसूस ही ना करो तो बढ़ती कहां है? Basically, it means is that your life has to go on. I mean, life has to increase. You have to grow age. But if you don't feel it, then how does it matter if it increases or not?
Yeah,
And
you
then
actually
also-
started the show very beautifully by saying age doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, right? It's all in you. It's all in your mind. It's all in your heart. And the other thing is that, like the famous Indian song, Zindagi Safar hai Suhana, yahan kal kya ho kisne jana. So basically, enjoy and live, appreciate and actually live your life. Enjoy every moment. Appreciate small things in life, butterflies flying, birds chirping, talking to roses, talking to plants, everything. Enjoy that. That is what you have to do. And keep happy, eat well, laugh, spread the happiness with people, and you'll actually enjoy living.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Nayaki, same question to you. How do you balance the same question I asked Jeevan? I'm asking you, how do you balance space and privacy? I mean, we all need those moments where you just want to have time on your own. How do you do that? Really quickly. You have a few minutes.
Yeah, no, I have no answer for this because we are a nice family together. So we don't need any privacy, I think. My daughter, my son-in-law, my grandchildren, we all are together. I'm very happy with them. Other than that, nothing privacy I need. I think so.
And would you like to say anything to all the seniors listening to you today about...
Yeah, be happy wherever you are. If you get a chance to stay in US, stay here. Otherwise, be happy in your own country. That's it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Indira, any pointers to seniors over 55 for the do's and don'ts of COVID, and really quickly?
Uh, Do's and don'ts of COVID. I think one is just, be prepared, have a plan. Have a plan, have your innermost circle, who you're going to tap for things that are a must have, food, medical supplies, and the like. Be alert now, because I think there are spammers and folks who are trying to take advantage, particularly with the use of technology. So be exceptionally mindful on that front.
Mhm.
And then I think just be calm, meditate, do what makes you tick, right? Have the joys in your life, the purpose in your life, and continue learning. I think it's a really good opportunity that in some ways COVID has sort of shrunk the world in some ways. I attended Navratri from around the globe. I saw Golu from around the globe, which I never would have.
Right.
So
Yes.
leverage that.
Yeah, I think the virtual, I mean, in one way, COVID has been, a downfall for a lot of people, but I think in another way, it's definitely opened up virtual. Now everything is just done virtually. So wonderful. Mahesh, you have something to say?
Yeah, in fact, what Indra just said, that get opportunities out of these situations. I am happy and proud to say that in Priya Living, during the pandemic, our seniors stitched face masks, which we distributed to a lot of people. We
Mm.
also knitted, they also knitted beanie caps and everything for children for the medical foundation. We also supported homeless shelter, food supplies and stuff like that. So opportunities out of these situations, but you have to stay healthy, stay happy, wear your face mask, maintain your social distancing, and take care of yourself.
Absolutely. And Jeevan, I didn't have a closing statement from you too, sir.
Well, I would like to echo all these other wonderful speakers, and Mahesh said it so well. Life is a journey which has to go through different phases before it ends. Old age is imminent, and one should not dread it. Don't let your mind be occupied by misadventures and failures in the past. Look to the future, meditate, calm your mind, keep yourself busy in community building activities, stay positive all the time. And, you will find wrong people all the time, but just ignore them and make your own small world of like-minded people who share your values. And as we all know, jab jab jo jo hona hai wo to hoke rahega. So why live in fear of the unknown? Just enjoy every moment, enjoy every day, and do good for others and good for ourselves.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Radio Zindagi, for this wonderful platform. It really is. We must applaud you, for bringing all these wonderful programs, which are very important for the community. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Radio.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank all the panelists today for all your time and your input. It's been wonderful. And even for someone like myself who lives here, I learned so much today. And I think probably my one message out to everyone out there is, because I deal with both the parents and the children, I deal with the grandparents as well, is that, I grew up not being able to see a lot of my grandparents because we lived continents apart and we didn't have Zoom. If you can have your grandparents living with you or close to you, that kind of cognitive development that your child will get from a nani, nana, dadi, dada, whatever you call them, it cannot be even given by parents. I cannot stress the importance of that. That is the reason why I refuse. I don't know who's going to win the elections on Tuesday, but that's what stops me from moving out of this country is because of my grandkids. I want to be able to see them grow and I want to be part of their lives. And we talk about babysitting and all, it boils down to mutual respect. As long as you respect people, whether they're your parents or not your parents, even teachers, as long as you respect people, people are going to feel worthy of their time. So again, Radio Zindagi, thank you so much. You always give us this platform and I'm honored to be able to be the host of this show and be able to bring so many amazing topics for the community. Thank you so much. And definitely, Mahesh, I'm still tempted to come and join Priya Living and also AARP. I know. You sound like you're having more fun than I am. I need to be over there. But thank you so much.
You still owe me a
All
tour.
of you are welcome. Aapka swagat hai. Thank you, Radio Zindagi, for such a wonderful opportunity. Have some more shows like this on seniors.
Yes.
We need to take care of them.
We definitely will. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And yes, thank you so much to all of you.
Thank you
Yes.
so
Yeah.
much.
Thank
Indra,
you.
I need to get in touch with you.
Yes,
was
Thank
a good
Yeah.
discussion.
and I did want to again say aarp.org because today we talked about senior, older adults, but there's immense sort of resources for caregivers
Right.
because for the
Okay.
younger group. So
Absolutely important. Yes.
Sure. So aarp.org, families and friends, and also Priya Living is there. So definitely. And don't forget Pragna's book.
Yes,
Yes.
we'll definitely order it.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Take care, everybody. Have a great
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.